Hey everyone, welcome back to the dad section. Today we're going to be going over 5 more tips on how to husband with a pregnant wife. But first, please make sure you smash that like button, leave a comment down below while you check out that description as well. And of course, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way when there's new content ready, you'll know when it's ready for you. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So our first tip for today, tip number 1, is going to be don't be her source of worry. That could be something as simple as making sure the house is clean, making sure that things are picked up, things are taken care of, the dogs aren't in the way. You're making sure that you're doing everything you can do personally to make sure that she's not going to be worrying about simple things like that. Or it could be something as complex as an emotional instability going on. You know, the world's crashing down around her, even though things may seem fine. I promise you, in her mind, things are going to seem like everything's going wrong. So make sure that if that's going on, you're not adding to that stress. You're not going to be nuisance in constantly asking her, you know, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong. If she doesn't want to talk about it and she needs her space, definitely give her that space if that's your kind of spouse. Y'all know your spouses a lot more than I do, so if she's a woman that needs her space, give her that space because trust me, she'll tear your freaking face off. But always try to get down to the source of the problem. If you can't figure it out right then and there, give her that little bit of space, let her cool off, and then hopefully you guys can figure out what the issue is. But pretty much, not being her source of worry is staying out of her way, but at the same time you are making sure things are getting done. That way, she's not having to be the one to worry about it. Tip number 2 goes pretty well with this one. It's learning to read a room. This is something that I am still struggling to learn because I am a fixer. I want to fix everything that's wrong, but sometimes she just needs to talk. So, read a room. It doesn't even have to be about being a fixer. It can be something as simple as she's having an extra emotional day. You know, she's feeling really down, know when to joke, know what to joke about, because pre-pregnancy you could probably joke about some things and it'd be hilarious and great, but during the pregnancy the sense of humor may not be the same. It may not be on that same level. So make sure you're reading the room and you're joking appropriately and you are able to communicate appropriately with your spouse. That way she doesn't take it the wrong way, because chances are you're not intending on it to come off in a negative way or in a hurtful way, but things are different now that the pregnancy started. Emotional instability is happening, so just make sure that you are reading the room. Tip number 3 is going to be able to roll with the punches, because during this pregnancy, there's a fine line between being a punching bag emotionally and spousal abuse. Don't ever let it cross that line into spousal abuse. If something's definitely going wrong and you're getting treated like crap and it's getting a little extreme, then okay, have that conversation with them. Be like, hey, this is a little much. But also know when you're not over that line, because you are going to have to be, in a sense, an emotional punching bag, because there are going to be times where nothing's going to make sense. There are going to be times where she expects you to read her mind. That's probably going to be, I can call it right now, number one argument y'all are going to have is going to be about how you can't read her mind. You should have known this, you should have known that. Chances are you're not going to know those things. Sorry, but that's just the way it goes. So, whenever she has to emotionally box you, just be ready to roll with the punches, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it to fight that battle, because more than likely it's making sense to her, but it's not making sense in reality. I'm not trying to say that, you know, the concerns and the issues are not valid at all, because that's not true. Everything that your spouse says is valid, of course, but just realize that it can seem a little bit extreme at times. Um, just make sure emotionally you're ready for that kind of a beating, I guess. All of these are going to tie in pretty much together, so I'm going to keep saying that throughout the whole video. These all deal kind of with emotions, not just with her, but with you yourself. I kind of want to backtrack a little bit to the punching bag. You're going to get frustrated. Make sure you're having that patience. Clearly, patience was step number 3 in our last video. If you haven't checked out the last video, please go back and you watch it, because those are some good tips. 5 more tips that are really good for you to know. But patience was tip number 3, so that's going to tie in well with today's video. So when you're rolling with the punches, be patient, because there's a lot of stuff going on, kind of like what I was just talking about. Just have a lot of patience with your spouse. Communicate what you're feeling as well. Don't feel like you need to bottle everything up, because there's a difference between being an emotional punching bag and bottling everything up and making things 10 times worse. So do make sure that you're being patient, but you are thoroughly communicating how you're feeling to your spouse once things have cooled down. All right, so now we're gonna move on to step number four. Just be prepared for mood swings. Mood swings are the craziest thing. There's no warning. There's no warning when it comes to mood swings. You guys could be sitting there having a real nice time, and then bah, something bad happen. I don't know. Something in their mind can flip the switch, and you looked out in the wrong way. You had an attitude whenever you didn't think you said anything different. Your tone might have shifted a little bit, whether or not you implied it to be that way. Um, just be ready. Like I said, be prepared for the emotional trauma that you might incur during this thing because mood swings are pretty fun. Um, just know that there's no warning, and I wish I could give you more advice on mood swings. Just be prepared, be patient, and communicate. And finally, step number five is going to be make sure you're reassuring your wife no matter what. It doesn't matter if you've been emotionally that punching bag all day. You are still the person at the end of the day that is married to this woman, to your spouse. You are the one that is in charge of boosting her morale, in charge of boosting how she's feeling during the day. You want to make sure that she feels like even if it seemed like a real crap day, that she's on top of a mountain by the end of that day. So just make sure you're showering her with the compliments if that's the kind of person that she is. Make sure that you are giving those surprises, whether it's something as small as flowers or chocolates, something like that. Just make sure that you're reassuring her that she's still the same beautiful woman that you fell in love with, and that you're so thankful that she's going to be the mother of your child, and that you're looking forward to the future and all these different things because at the end of the day, those mood swings can turn into not just anger, it can be complete sadness. She can be just really down on herself. So it's up to you to bring her back up because you are her rock. You have to be that rock. Otherwise, what else does she have? You need to make sure that you're being the husband that you promised that you would be. And if you're just a boyfriend or you're just somebody that's helping out a friend during this whole scenario, be that rock no matter what because she's looking for positivity in her life during this trial that she's going through. She's going to be going through so much, whether it's trimester one or all the way up to you're at the hospital ready for the baby to come. You need to make sure that you are constantly reassuring her. Be her morale booster, be her everything, and you guys are just going to have a happy marriage, and the pregnancy is going to go a lot easier. I gotta say, biggest takeaway from these 5 tips would be, of course, patience. Like the last video, communicate thoroughly because that's super important in every relationship, in any aspect in life. Communication is key. And finally, just make sure that you are her reassuring factor. You are the one that's lifting her up and not bringing her down at the end of the day. You want to make sure that you both are elevated because this is a great life that you guys are starting together, a brand new chapter. It doesn't matter if this is your first kid or this is your 20th kid. It's always going to be a new chapter. So make sure you guys are supporting each other and make sure you're reassuring her and being who you said you would be. That's all I've got for you today. As always, please like this video, give us 2 thumbs up, leave a comment down below, check out that description again. If you hadn't already checked out our last video, so our 5 first tips to being a husband to a pregnant wife, make sure you check that out. I'll have that linked in one of these boxes that are going to be coming up here shortly. Always subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you do know when new videos are posted. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.